Welcome back. You're watching StartUpCentral with me, Nayantara Rai. After coup, another prominent startup has provided an exit to Chinese investors. Not one, but two Chinese investors, that's Xiaomi as well as Shunwei Capital. The startup we're talking about is KreditBee, which has raised $75 million, and the founder, Madhusudan, are joining me live right here on StartUpCentral. Madhusudan, welcome to the show. My first question, tell us about your fundraise and what's now your valuation at?
Hey, thanks for inviting me for this forum. And we did raise our Series C, which is a total of about 145 million. Since it was led by kind of four PE investors, there are four new investors, namely Premji Invest, Mirae Asset, Motilal Oswal, and TPG-backed NewQuest. So all of them were doing an independent evaluation, so we had to split our round into two phases. The phase one got concluded with 75 million raise from Premji Invest and Mirae Asset. The phase two, what we concluded just about like 2 days back, that is about 70 million, and that was led by Motilal Oswal and TPG-backed NewQuest. So I think the major one of the things is that this fundraise, we did it both on primary and secondary. Basically, primary is where the money is infused into the company, and a secondary transaction is where some of the investors exit from the company. So we did provide half of the funds were utilized to kind of provide exit to the existing investors, and so there is a new set of investors who have come into the company. So that's what the fundraise is all about. Just to speak a little bit about what we do. So we are basically a full stack digital lending company catering to the salaried and self-employed segment across India. So that's what we basically do. We have an NBFC which is registered with RBI, and we use our NBFC arm to kind of lend to these borrowers. Yeah.
But if I could also talk to you about the Chinese angle. You did have two Chinese investors, and I believe after this latest fundraise, they're no longer a part of KreditBee. Can you confirm that for us?
Yeah, we don't have any Chinese investors in KreditBee. So it was primarily Xiaomi and Shunwei. So I think that it is led by two primary things. One is the brand. What probably Xiaomi or Shunwei kind of investors are celebrated VCs in the Asian markets, but when it comes to the local Indian market, I think the brand is not as much known, or it's very limited. The brand value itself is limited. Considering that we are into a lending space with a highly regulated space with RBI regulation or NBFC and everything, and as well we need to we borrow from banks and other NBFCs in the local ecosystem. A brand such as Premji Invest and Motilal would add a lot of value for us, be it in raising our debt funds in the local markets, or even if you're planning for going for IPO. Such brands add much more value than the investors what we had in the past. I think that is one reason. The second reason is there's nothing to shy away from the fact that the geopolitical issues that has recently happened in 2020, right? So it has also kind of led us to become more of Aatmanirbhar kind of a company, where we rely on more of local investors rather than getting the fund from any of the Chinese investors. Maybe they are international investors, but still based out of China. So I personally was convinced that I should get them an exit and focus more towards Aatmanirbhar in terms of having local investors. Yeah.
So, like you said, the sector is very regulated. In that sense, of course, it is a smart move. But having said that, Madhusudan, were the Chinese investors on board with this? Like I said, yours is the second prominent startup to do this. Coup did it last week. Today, KreditBee is doing this. Is this also going to become a trend on Startup Street?
I guess the investors were aware, right? So it was not that they were totally unaware of the ground situation. So they were more supportive to kind of exit because that was the need of the hour for the company, and as well as for the capital that they have deployed. So I guess it was kind of a both win-win for the company and for those investors as well. So it was more of the company's request saying that they should exit from the company because we want to go more towards local-based investors, right? So that's one thing. Second is there was no premium or anything of that sort, in the sense that generally the secondaries happen based on the valuations that are set to the companies. So there is a certain way in which the valuations are derived. I think we stuck to the math on how the valuations would be derived. It was not on any premium or any forceful exits what we had to deal with. Moving forward, I think it's something, so one has to respect the law of the land as well. So I would see that probably more companies which has an option to give an exit should really go forward to kind of give the exits to the Chinese investors. There are namely like there is Ant Financial, there is Tencent of the world, there is Shunwei, which has invested in the Indian ecosystem. So whichever company has that kind of ability to provide exits, I think they should go ahead and do it. That's the right thing to do, is probably what I believe.
From what you're saying, obviously an IPO is on the cards. 2021 is going to be all about IPOs. When can we see KreditBee make its debut on the stock exchanges?
The IPO would be about definitely that's the goal of any startup company, and we are at a growth stage, right? There is the primary aim of any growth stage company is to kind of go for an IPO. But having said that, I think I would see that it's a 2 to 3 year plan, not very immediate. What I could kind of see it, but definitely, so IPO is the plan, and to do it in Indian ecosystem or on the bed of BSE and NSE would be the dream for any startup like ours.
Okay, and I want to also get a sense from you. While every startup wants to be IPO ready, you raise big bucks, and you raise big bucks from marquee investors, right? Whether it's a Motilal Oswal, TPG, or Premji Invest, you also provided an exit to Chinese investors. Give me a sense of how big is KreditBee today?
Yeah, so we are basically kind of, it can be answered in multiple ways. One is by the way of how the NBFC is recognized. So there are about close to 9,600 NBFCs in India, out of which there are only 294 of them which are systemically important NBFC, which are recognized by RBI. So RBI would give such status depending on the certain asset size, qualification, what an NBFC has to do, and also on how good the regulations are followed. So in that ways, we were the first digital or using technology as a focus. We were recognized as the systemically important NBFC. Adding on to that, we had our loan book stands at somewhere close to about 1,250 crores. Right. So I think that's one of the largest among the digitally lending or app-based lending NBFCs. Our team size is close to about like 1,200 people. I think we have provided that employment opportunity directly, creating such employability for almost 1,200 people within the company. So in the usage of funds, I think one is definitely we'll be using it to leverage the equity money to borrow more debt, which will be further used to build a much larger book, much larger loan book. The second thing is we are also looking to kind of provide more secured lending products. It could be in the nature of vehicle financing or gold loans, gold-backed loans, or the consumer durable loans in terms of upgrading the borrower's house or kitchen needs in terms of the sofa sets or mixer grinders or washing machines, which typically comes under the consumer durable loans. I think these are the few new products what we'll be trying to launch to cater to the needs of our borrowers. So primarily it is more towards leveraging the equity to raise more debt, and also to pilot and launch newer loan products to our borrower base. I think this is where we'll be using our the new fundraise. Yeah.